So we're here with Tim Wells and Magnus Nifors from Avalanche. We're going to talk about Rage 2. You guys have an awesome game coming out that everyone was excited to see. Your very normal, calm, and sweet trailer that you put out for.
Yes.
It seems so just kind of, metronome-like how this game is going to be. So why did you guys base your game off of Bob Ross paintings and trying to calm everybody down?
Oh, Bob Ross is awesome.
He is. Let's just talk about him. No, we'll talk about Rage 2. Okay, so Rage 2. It's been a while since we've had a Rage game. What sparked interest in having a follow-up?
So if you look at like the id Software games, we have Wolfenstein with Machine Games, the reboot of Doom, Quake Champions has taken off. Rage is our open world, true open world game with id style first-person shooting, and it fits really nicely in our portfolio of games. And the opportunity to work with these gentlemen, was something we couldn't pass up.
I was excited to see that Avalanche was working on this as well because we have. They made Just Cause, they made Mad Max, and obviously Avalanche is real good at explosions and vehicles.
You guys make really good fire.
Yes,
It's really
and-
Mad Max is
and
one of the most satisfying explosion games ever.
And just really bombastic gameplay. And in the first Rage, it was a little more. It didn't have as much color as this Rage. So not only is there the punk aspect added in, but there's. I went and saw your presentation and I played the game a little bit. I saw that there's actually forests. I saw bamboo forests, and I saw it was crazy. I did not expect that. So what was the influence to add more color to this time around?
Well, colorfulness was one of the first thing we said. Both our companies has mastered all the shades of brown.
Yes.
So we wanted to do something new, not only for our own sanity, but also for the audience. Yes, to see something new is always interesting. We took a lot of inspiration, looked back in what's going on with post-apocalyptic stuff, and we looked back to the 80s and the 90s and the comic books then. They were super colorful and they were a lot of action and that. Yeah, this style is something that we want to go for.
Yeah.
So we just felt that we needed more color, more crazy stuff going on in the world. Yes, we mastered explosions before, but we wanted even more bigger one and more colorful one and so on. So
I feel like we're really hitting on that. You actually did watch Bob Ross to figure out how to make this game better. It's
you were right.
Bob uses all the colors.
Yeah.
Rage 2 needs to have all the colors.
Yes. Exactly.
Now I'm going to play Rage 2, and I'm going to just have Bob Ross in the background while I'm just driving around. It's really exciting for you guys to kind of marry those two things together. We're just talking about where you guys make some of the most, if not the most satisfying FPSs. I would say it's a very good word to apply to your stuff. Like Doom is so satisfying. Every shot, every punch that you do, the finishers, and even just the pace of it. And same with Wolf. And so creating an open world. What were the challenges of broadening that world beyond what you guys normally do, which is a very narrative concept?
Yes. Getting the player engaged in the combat is the thing that we are most interested in. And with an open world game, you can be way back here and drop bombs down on the bad guys. So similarly to Doom 2016, we encourage you in Rage 2 to get into the fight. With the nanotrite abilities, you can combo attacks. You can up your kill streak, which charges up your overdrive, which then you get into this loop of insanity. Bringing that intensity to the combat that you can approach from any direction, in anywhere, was a challenge. But working with Avalanche, they've really helped us kind of steer that towards where it's most effective.
Okay, so you make that comparison of how what you were encouraged, the game type you were encouraged to play in Doom. Part of that came with a game like that was that there was, depending on how hard you're playing the game, it was challenging and you would die a lot, but you also jumped right back in the game a lot, and so there was no punishing of the players. How's the Rage 2 mechanic going to work with that as far as getting into big high stakes combat situations?
Well, we want to continue in a similar way. It's one word that we have that is kind of leading everything for us is fun.
Yes.
Plain and simple fun. And yes, you will die in a game, but you need to get back into the fun as fast as possible.
Yeah.
It's not fun to be killed in a place, then teleported all across the world.
Just do
you
a
need to travel
traversal,
back,
yes,
and then you need to do the half of the mission, and then you're at the point. So we will try to keep you in the fun at all times.
That's
as well,
great.
so.
when I was playing, I was noticing there was quite a bit of when you would shoot enemies, they would fly against the wall and splatter.
Yep.
You could jump in the air, and the higher you got, the more damage your ground slam
Jesus,
did.
it's like you willed it into the universe.
Yeah, no, totally. And then you have abilities where you can just like punch or like kind of like force push people out of your way.
Oh, he said it. For 3 days, no one said that force push. You're the first guy to use.
Well, there you go. I mean,
Everyone has stayed on.
Yeah.
You did it. You won E3.
this is. It's different than the first game. The first game had very tight shooting, but it didn't have as much of I don't know what the word is, but just like over the topness to it. Can you tell us a little bit about like what other abilities we're going to see? We saw again the ground slam ability, and I think it was called Shatter, where you force pushed them. So what other abilities can we expect, or can you talk about?
Well, those are the ones that you've seen now, and those are the ones that we will show for this moment.
Fair enough.
Like you see a hint of other things in the gameplay trailer and so on. So there are others, and you will find more of them. But they're all really both great tools and fun tools to use in combat, but they're also very usable just to interact with the game world in general. Like we love dynamic gameplay of all the different sorts. So like you can use the push thing to move things around and set up an ambush in a clever way. Like just let the player to be a little bit creative with the tools that they get. So
Yeah, that's something that there's been in previous Avalanche games, like Just Cause. It's a very much a physics simulation. You just have a bunch of fun, and like Just Cause, this game has a ton of vehicles, and we're seeing stuff that we hadn't seen before. In past Rage, it was more basic dune buggies and trailing around the desert. And this, we saw the whatever the wagon was there had like jets in the back of it. But we also saw like a brief glimpse of a hovercraft with lasers in the front of it.
Yep.
So how crazy are you guys going to get with the vehicles?
well, pretty crazy, I would say. Everything is crazy, but like we as you say, we started out what was around in the first Rage game, like more normal wasteland cars, and we have pushed that. So we have motorbikes, we have a monster truck, of course, team's
Also my favorite.
toy.
Yes.
And we have a tank.
fantastic.
We have like the flying thing. We even have stuff that floats a little.
Yes.
And
Awesome.
the big convoy leaders like that you need to take down. Like they are awesome and crazy.
In the trailer, it says if you can see it, you can drive it. That
Yep.
holds true. So
Yep.
it's exciting.
Steal everything.
Steal everything.
There's obviously vehicular combat in the game.
Yep.
How does that change from the first game?
So so in Rage 1 it was very limited to one of the things that we struggled with in that game is level loads, having like this the separate areas where you fight and then you come out into the world. Whereas in Rage 2 with the Apex technology, you can drive, walk anywhere. So the vehicle combat in Rage 2 is more dynamic. We have, of course, more weapons per vehicle. And it's much more exciting and integrated. You don't feel like, okay, now I'm in vehicle combat area. It's
Right.
just everywhere, which is a huge change and really makes this game shine.
With the vehicles, and is there going to be like upgrade capabilities? Or are you just going to have to just like look and find really good vehicles, that kind of thing? How's that going to work?
Well, both actually. So you will have a set of vehicles that you are like your personal selection of cars and things you can drive around in, and they are upgradable. So you will need to find things for them and build new weapons for them and so on. But also as we say, everything you can see, you can drive. So you can collect those cars as well and those vehicles and bring them home to your home base. And from that moment, you can actually bring them out. So if I feel, hey, I want to drive a tank for a while. I found a tank a while back, so I'll take the tank out in the wasteland and just blow shit up.
You can say that on this podcast.
Yes.
Don't worry.
That's
Yeah.
good. I was like,
We say no words all the time.
good.
Speaking of the tank, one of the things that we've learned from working with Avalanche is that when we set up these combat scenarios, I'm like, okay, and I'm thinking id Software style. You go in here, you do this, you do that. And Magnus says stuff like, well, Willits, you can drive a tank through the back door.
Yeah.
You got to think differently. And so it's really been very educational, especially for me.
Yeah, I love games like that. And Just Cause is a good example of like, there are 24 ways to attack this
Yep.
scenario. Try all of them and explode everything you can. does we're talking about like with how you guys have approached FPS as music was such a big part of Doom, and this seems like a game where music would be such a big part of it. You guys had what was it, Andrew WK come out and do that. Is that going to be part of it? Like combat will start and things will ramp up. You'll be in a car and some music will start and that kind of thing. Is that going to be a part we can look forward to?
Absolutely, music is super important for us in the game. We have our own like composed music for the whole game. That like we also have the technical term I don't remember, but it's like dynamic musical system. So it's actually feels or senses what the player is doing, and it adds on tracks dynamically on top of that. So it builds up the music as you play the game. If you are playing in a calm way, like the music gets calmer and so on, and then when you go into more action-packed sequences, the music will build up in this like in sync with what the player is doing and so on.
Awesome. So being a big open world, what sort of activities aside from the main story quest, what can players do outside of that?
Well, anything they want.
Okay.
It's like just exploration in the world is interesting. Just like we love to build worlds with a lot of different areas and a lot of different feel to them. So we have quite a few different biomes. Just being in them and exploring, finding locations and so on is super fun. Random encounters along the roads. We are bringing back racing. We're bringing back a fan favorite.
Nice.
That's my personal favorite. Is the Mutant Bash TV.
Yes.
That's back. Like yes, it's. I think that's for me personally. It's kind of like the essence of the whole game. It's lighthearted. It's fun. It's crazy. It's over the top. But if you scratch a little bit, it's like it's like there's a story behind this. What's going on in the world and so on. So it's like that's a favorite.
Awesome. So you've just said what's your favorite part of it that you're looking forward to. Is there a part of the game you're looking forward to people to actually get to experience that you can't wait for them to touch?
It's the combos. The way that we have the nanotrite abilities is, and once you find them all in the world, and what you can do is, especially with the engine and the physics, and the way that our game designer had, created a system that allows you to do it fast and smooth, and the bodies flying and things blowing up. It's just the combos. I love them.
Well, I'm such a fan of all the games you guys work on. So these being, those two creative, powerhouses working together makes me so excited for this game. When's the game come out?
Spring 2019.
Spring 2019. Cannot wait.
And it's on PC, Xbox One, PS4?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, guys. That was super fun to hear more about Rage 2. We're going to go over to the sidecar to my best friend in the world, Bernie Burns.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Sean. Don't ever say that in public again, please. Thank you.